The Iraqi Gazette, and the legal foundation of the dinar revaluation. When discussing the revaluation, RV of the Iraqi dinar, it is impossible to overstate the importance of the Iraqi Gazette. To the casual observer, this might sound like just another government publication, perhaps similar to a newspaper or an online bulletin board. But to anyone who has followed Iraq's economic developments over the past 2 decades, the Gazette is much more than that. It is the legal cornerstone of governance in Iraq. If something is printed there, it is not speculation, rumor, or political theater. It is law. Understanding why the Gazette matters is the first step in grasping why the recent publication regarding currency reform is being called a watershed moment in global economics. What is the Iraqi Gazette? The Iraqi Gazette, al-Waqi al-Iraqiyya, is the official record of the Iraqi government. Every law, regulation, amendment, and governmental decree must be published in the Gazette before it can take effect. Parliament can debate policies, and ministers can issue announcements, but until the text is printed in the Gazette, nothing is legally binding. This system isn't unique to Iraq. Many countries use similar official journals to announce the activation of laws. In the United States, it's the Federal Register. In the United Kingdom, it's the London Gazette. In France, it's the Journal Officiel. Iraq's Gazette serves the same role. It acts as the bridge between legislation and implementation. The principle is simple. If a law is not published in the Gazette, it doesn't exist in the eyes of the state. Once it is published, every citizen, business, and international partner is expected to recognize and abide by it. So when we say the Gazette has officially published the directive on Iraq's currency reform and potential revaluation of the dinar, we are talking about a binding, enforceable act of government policy. The historical weight of this moment. To appreciate why this publication is monumental, we need to rewind history. Iraq's currency, before 2003, before the US-led invasion in 2003, the Iraqi dinar had already gone through a series of crises. Under Saddam Hussein, international sanctions, hyperinflation, and economic isolation caused the dinar to plummet in value. Counterfeit notes circulated widely, and multiple exchange rates existed simultaneously, one official, one for the black market. Trust in the currency was virtually non-existent. The fall of Saddam and the new dinar in 2003, after the regime collapsed, the Coalition Provisional Authority introduced new Iraqi dinar notes, printed with advanced anti-counterfeiting features. The intention was to stabilize the financial system and unify the currency under a single standard. However, despite these efforts, the value of the dinar never recovered to its pre-1990s levels. Instead, Iraq became synonymous with a heavily devalued currency. 2 decades of recovery and reform. For more than 20 years, Iraq has been trying to rebuild its economy. The country possesses some of the largest proven oil reserves in the world, yet political instability, corruption, and regional conflict slowed progress. Still, step by step, Iraq has moved toward reform. By the mid-2010s, Iraq began rebuilding foreign currency reserves. In the late 2010s and early 2020s, Iraq worked with the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and World Bank to establish anti-corruption frameworks and fiscal oversight. In 2023, rumors of currency reform intensified when Iraq hosted strategic meetings with global financial institutions. And now, in 2025, we arrive at a turning point. The Iraqi Gazette has printed the legal foundation for monetary reform, signaling that the long-anticipated revaluation is no longer theoretical. It is official. Why the Gazette publication matters more than rumors. For years, investors, analysts, and currency enthusiasts have speculated about the potential revaluation of the dinar. Online forums, blogs, and private groups have circulated intel, often based on unverified leaks or interpretations of political events. The difference this time is that the Gazette publication is not rumor, it is law. Think of it this way: rumors are whispers about what might happen. Political speeches are aspirations of what leaders want to happen. Gazette publications are confirmations of what the government has already committed to making happen. That distinction is crucial. With the Gazette publication, the debate shifts from, will Iraq revalue its currency, to when and how will the revaluation take effect. The legal language of the Gazette and its implications, while the exact wording of the Gazette's publication may vary in translation, analysts have identified several critical elements. 1. Currency policy adjustment. A clear statement that Iraq will shift its approach to how the dinar is valued and traded. 2. Legal authority for exchange rate reform. The creation of a legal framework enabling the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, to alter official rates. 3. International trade provisions. Explicit reference to Iraq's intent to integrate more fully into global markets, using its adjusted currency value. 4. Elimination of the dual exchange rate. Iraq has long suffered from multiple exchange rates, the official government rate and the parallel market rate. The new directive indicates a plan to unify these into a single, transparent rate. These provisions are not mere technical adjustments. They represent a fundamental restructuring of Iraq's financial system. The role of the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, the next critical step after Gazette publication, will be implementation by the CBI. The central bank controls the nation's monetary policy, and while the Gazette provides the legal green light, the CBI decides the exact timing, methodology, and rate structure for the RV. Watch for official CBI announcements regarding exchange rate changes, new foreign exchange regulations detailing how banks and businesses must operate under the revalued dinar, updates to Iraq's SWIFT and global settlement systems to ensure international compatibility. The Gazette has opened the door, but the CBI holds the key to walking through it. International reactions. Whenever a nation adjusts its currency, global financial institutions take notice. The reactions to the Gazette publication have already begun. IMF and World Bank expressing cautious support, noting that monetary sovereignty is a positive step if paired with fiscal discipline. Neighboring Gulf states, Kuwait, UAE, Saudi Arabia, signaling interest in deeper financial cooperation and regional currency stability. United States Treasury, acknowledging Iraq's progress while emphasizing the importance of transparency and anti-money laundering safeguards. Such responses indicate that the world is not only watching, but preparing to engage with Iraq on new financial terms. Why this moment is a green light for investors. Think of the Gazette publication as the starter pistol at the beginning of a race. The runners, in this case, the CBI, banks, and investors, have been lined up for years. The gun has now fired. The race has officially begun. Does this mean investors can walk into a bank tomorrow and exchange their dinar for US dollars at a dramatically higher rate? Not yet. But it does mean that the legal foundation is locked in place, and every subsequent step is now a matter of procedure rather than speculation. Typically, after a Gazette publication of this scale, full implementation can take up to 2 years, around 730 days. This window allows the CBI, banks, and international partners to phase in changes, test systems, and stabilize markets. For investors, this means patience is still required, but the uncertainty is gone. The broader significance for Iraq beyond profits. This revaluation represents something larger, Iraq reclaiming its economic sovereignty. For Iraqis, it means greater purchasing power, improved trust in the national currency, and stronger integration with the global economy. For businesses, it means predictable exchange rates, fewer distortions, and better conditions for foreign investment. For the government, it means enhanced credibility in implementing reforms and reducing dependence on dual-rate systems that foster corruption. In short, this is not just a financial event. It is a national milestone. The Iraqi Gazette's publication is not merely another footnote in Iraq's long economic recovery. It is the legal turning point that shifts the conversation from speculation to execution. For over 2 decades, investors have waited, debated, and speculated about this moment. Now the framework is real and the steps ahead are defined. The coming months will be about timing, implementation, and strategy, but one fact is undeniable: the revaluation is no longer a rumor. It has entered the realm of law. The investor's roadmap after the Gazette, the publication of Iraq's currency reform directive in the Iraqi Gazette, was the spark. For years, investors holding Iraqi dinar IQD or Vietnamese dong, VND, have been waiting for confirmation that revaluation RV is more than chatter. Now that confirmation is here. But for investors, the Gazette is just the beginning. The real challenge lies in what comes next: how to prepare, position, and act when the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, and global financial institutions begin the actual implementation. This section will serve as a comprehensive roadmap for investors navigating the post-Gazette phase. The timeline. What to expect after Gazette publication. A critical misconception is that publication in the Gazette means immediate revaluation overnight. That is rarely the case. Historically, monetary reforms of this scale unfold in phases. One legal foundation, now Gazette publication, creates a binding framework. The CBI is empowered to act. International institutions, IMF, World Bank, U.S. Treasury begin aligning policies. 2. Preparation phase, 0-12 months. The CBI issues initial guidance to Iraqi banks. Global settlement systems, SWIFT, correspondent banks update protocols. Redemption centers in select countries quietly prepare their infrastructure. 3. Implementation phase, 12-24 months. Announcement of the official revaluation date. CBI adjusts the published exchange rate. Market rates may temporarily diverge from the official rate. 4. Stabilization phase, 24 months onward. Market volatility smooths out. Iraq's currency becomes widely accepted in international trade. Investors exchange holdings during defined redemption windows. In short, the Gazette is the green light, but the actual race is a marathon, not a sprint. The Central Bank of Iraq, CBI. The signal caller. While the Gazette sets the law, the CBI controls execution. Investors must monitor CBI actions closely because the next announcements from the central bank will determine timing. Key signals to watch. Official exchange rate updates on the CBI website. Foreign reserves reports indicating Iraq's ability to support the new rate. Circulars to commercial banks outlining redemption procedures. Public statements clarifying implementation windows. The CBI will likely release these in stages to prevent market panic or premature speculation. The investor action plan. Now that the legal foundation is in place, investors must prepare. Waiting passively risks missed opportunities or costly mistakes. Here are the essential steps every IQD or VND holder should take. 1. Secure your currency. Store Dinar notes in a fireproof safe or secured deposit box. Ensure you have proof of purchase, receipts, or certificates from licensed dealers. Avoid selling early to opportunists offering pre-exchange rates. These are often scams. 2. Research redemption options. Contact major banks in your region to ask if they will participate in IQD VND exchanges. Inquire about appointment scheduling, required documents, and fee structures. If banks in your country are not participating, research international redemption centers. 3. Prepare documentation. Most redemption centers will require government-issued photo ID, passport, driver's license, proof of currency ownership, dealer receipt, certificate of authenticity, verified bank account for deposit. 4. Get tax and legal guidance. Consult a CPA or tax attorney about capital gains treatment in your jurisdiction. Explore whether establishing a trust or entity structure can reduce liabilities. Keep detailed records of purchase and sale for tax reporting. 5. Stay alert to scams. Be cautious of early exchange offers promising unrealistic rates. Avoid groups claiming access to special contract rates without banking proof. Never hand over currency to an unverified intermediary. The exchange process in detail. When the CBI sets the revaluation date and banks open redemption windows, here's what the process will look like. 1. Appointment booking. Investors will book appointments through banks or designated centers. Time slots may be limited, 10 days for peak redemption. 2. Verification. Currency will be checked for authenticity. Receipts or certificates will be matched with your identity. 3. Rate confirmation. The center will present the official exchange rate. Be aware of the spread difference between buy-sell rates. 4. Fees and deductions. Banks may charge 1-3% fees. Taxes may apply. Capital gains in some countries. 5. Deposit or payout funds are usually deposited directly into your account. Large sums may have holding periods for security clearance. The role of timing. Why not all days are equal? One of the most discussed aspects in the IQD VND community is which day to exchange. This is not superstition, it is rooted in how financial institutions operate. Monday mornings, centers reset from weekend closures. Liquidity is fresh and rates can spike. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, traditionally recalibration days. Banks rebalance ledgers and reserves. Rates are often conservative. Thursdays and Fridays, final settlement days of the week. Centers push to meet quotas, and liquidity is high, rates may peak. Patterns from both forex markets and redemption testimonies suggest avoiding Tuesday and Wednesday exchanges if possible. Private exchange groups with insider knowledge of bank cycles almost never schedule midweek. They strike early Monday or late Thursday-Friday. Rough math, calculating your potential. Let's consider a simple scenario. You hold 1 million IQD. If the new rate is $0.50 per dinar, your gross return is $500,000 USD. But here's where deductions matter. Bank fees, 2% equals minus $10,000 spread difference. 5% equals minus $25,000 taxes. Capital gains at 20% equals minus $93,000 net. Return equals $372,000 USD. This example highlights why preparation is key. Your gross return may look large, but fees, spreads, and taxes can reduce it significantly. Risks and mitigation. Even with the Gazette publication, risks remain. Investors should be aware of 1. Delays in implementation. Gazette law is binding, but execution may stretch over years. Mitigation. Diversify investments instead of holding only IQD VND. 2. Market volatility. Initial rates may swing wildly before stabilizing. Mitigation. Don't rush to exchange on day one. Observe early market behavior. 3. Scams and false intel. Fraudulent groups may resurface, preying on eager investors. Mitigation. Only trust announcements from the CBI or verified banks. Investor psychology. Patience versus panic. The greatest mistake investors can make now is emotional decision-making. After years of waiting, the urge to cash out immediately will be strong. But as history and market cycles show, patience often yields better results. Those who exchange midweek at conservative rates may regret missing Thursday-Friday peaks. Those who panic sell early to private dealers may lose thousands compared to waiting for bank windows. Investors must balance urgency with discipline. Broader implications for global markets. For global investors, the revaluation is not just about personal profit. It signals increased foreign investment in Iraq's energy and infrastructure, new opportunities for Middle Eastern banks to expand internationally, ripple effects in forex markets as Iraq's currency stabilizes. The IQD revaluation is not an isolated event. It is a regional economic catalyst. Closing thoughts. The Gazette was the trigger, but the journey for investors is just beginning. Success will not come to those who simply hold dinar and hope. It will come to those who secure their currency, prepare documents, understand tax obligations, time their exchanges strategically, and remain patient during volatility. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity. For some, it will mean financial freedom. For others, poor planning will turn it into disappointment. The difference lies not in the Gazette, but in how each investor responds to it. Disclaimer: all content provided by IQD Global Intel is for educational and informational purposes only. We are not financial advisors and do not provide investment, trading, or banking advice. Viewers should always conduct their own research and consult with a licensed financial advisor before making any financial decisions.